Fathers of Nations. Yes, Fathers of Nation. This right here is the book that replaced Blossoms of the Savannah. So Fathers of Nations replaced the set book Blossoms of the Savannah. Now, Fathers of Nations is a novel authored by Paul B. Vitta. It's a book that is written by Paul B. Vitta. And as you can see, this right here also is the cover page for this novel. So I have read the book and it's a very interesting book to read. And so at this moment, I'm encouraging anyone who is listening to me, anyone who is watching this video, find time, get the book from any bookshop. It's available in all major bookshops. So you can get the book there and read it. I can assure you that it's a very wonderful book and it's a nice piece. You feel good. If you love reading, it's a nice catch. So at this time, I want us to look at character and characterization in Fathers of Nations. Character and characterization in Fathers of Nations. So to begin with, I'm going to list the characters that are in this book, in this novel, Fathers of Nations, and then I'll say a thing or two about the major characters used in this novel. So the characters are as follows. Number one, we have Professor Karanja Kimani. Professor Karanja Kimani. Number two, we have Comrade Gobile Melusi. Comrade Gobile Melusi. 3, Pastor Chineke Chiamaka. Pastor Chineke Chiamaka. 4, Engineer Seif Tahil. Engineer Seif Tahil. Number 5, we have character number 5, we have Dr. Abiola Afolabi, whom we realize that he is the guide. Then we have Miss Fiona Mackenzie, that is Miss Mackenzie, the reporter. Then we have Newborn Walomu. Then we also have a character by the name of Asiya Omondi. Then we have Tunisia, who is nicknamed as Tuni. Then we also have Ian Mackenzie, and Elspeth Mackenzie. Then we have a character known as Rama Mahmood, that is Rama Mahmood. Then we have President Simba Ibarosa. Then we have another president, President Wasiwasi Wesiga. And then we have Mr. Longwe. So those are the characters in this book. I have first of all listed them that way so that at least you have a quick catch of the characters used in this set book. Then I'll say a thing or two about some of them. Then to start with, we have Professor Karanja Kimani, whom I began with. Professor Karanja Kimani is a Kenyan man aged 60 years. He's a man from Kenya and is 60 years. He is a professor in the Institute of Development Studies at the University of Nairobi, Kenya. And he is the very first person to sign into the Seamount Hotel. And so he's given a room on the 4th floor in the East Wing. That is Professor Karanja Kimani. Then also, he's very instrumental for various reasons. He was very instrumental in changing the University of Nairobi motto to relevance to the society. We are saying that he's very instrumental in changing the University of Nairobi motto to relevance to the society. Now, Professor Karanja Kimani is also the ex-husband of Asiya Omondi and is the father of Tunisia. He is the father of Tuni. Number 2, we have Comrade Gombile Melusi. Comrade Melusi, who is a 70-year-old Zimbabwe national. A 70-year-old Zimbabwe national. And Comrade Melusi was the second to arrive at the Seamount Hotel. And upon arrival, he was allocated a room on the 5th floor on the South Wing. Comrade Melusi is also a politician. He is also a politician and the husband of Ziliza. The husband of Ziliza, who lost her life to tribal clashes. And from what we see about him is that he really loved his late wife Ziliza. Then we have Pastor Chineke Chiamaka. Pastor Chineke Chiamaka. And he's a 50-year-old male Nigerian clergyman. A 50-year-old male Nigerian clergyman. He was a pastor of the church Inside Africa in Lagos, Nigeria. A church Inside Africa in Lagos, Nigeria. And we see that he was barred from preaching after criticizing the government. This is because he said that the government should take action rather than just give advice. Then we have Dr. Abiola Afolabi. Dr. Abiola Afolabi, who is a 45-year-old professional. Who is a 45-year-old professional at the University of Ibadan in Nigeria. Now, Dr. Afolabi studied at Harvard University in the United States of America, and we are told that he has authored a book titled Failure of States, and he acts as an advisor. He acts as an advisor to the heads of state during the Gabian Summit, which was held at the Pinnacle Hotel. That is Dr. Afolabi. And we later on realized that he's the guide. From Dr. Abiola Afolabi, we also have Engineer Seif Tahil, who is he is said to be a 40+ year old engineer from Libya, an engineer and a former employee of the Ministry of Defense in Libya. And Engineer Seif Tahil is actually the last of the 4 men to check into the hotel. And when he checks into the hotel, he is allocated a room on the 3rd floor of the North Wing. We are told that he joins the Feast of Allah after returning from the overseas. That is the Feast of Allah. And we later on learn from, that is through our reading from this book, that later the Feast of Allah was dismantled. Then from Engineer Saif Tahil, we have Miss Fiona Mackenzie. Miss Fiona Mackenzie, who is a reporter. And Miss Fiona Mackenzie is an adopted daughter of Ian and Elspeth Mackenzie. Now, Ian and Elspeth Mackenzie are Scottish missionaries who were in Bajul. So we are told that her birth parent died when Fiona was less than a year old. Then afterwards, what followed was her adoption by Ian and Elspeth Mackenzie. And then we are told that again, Miss Fiona Mackenzie is 35 years of age, and also that she works for the Guardian News as a reporter. Then we have Tunisia, who is the daughter to Professor Kimani and his wife, and his, let me talk of ex-wife, Asiya Omondi. So Tuni was named, she was named Tuni as it was believed that Tunisia was her country of conception. And then this character, who is known as Tuni, dies in a freak road accident. Then we have a character also known as Asiya Omondi, who is previously the wife to Professor Kimani and the mother to Tuni. We are told that she divorced Professor Kimani because of his financial status. He wasn't well financially, he was poor. So now the wife decided to leave him, and she is now the wife to newborn Walomu. She comes out as a character who is materialistic, for she chooses to marry Walomu at the age of 60 because he's wealthy and he owns 4 cars. That is Walomu. Now, who is this Walomu that we are talking about? Now, Walomu, newborn Walomu, is a rich MP. He's a rich MP, and formerly a junior colleague of Professor Kimani at the University of Nairobi. So you can imagine having your colleague have or sharing your wife with your colleague. So we are told that, in fact, the one that is used here in this book is stole. He stole Professor Kimani's wife, Asiya. And this newborn Walomu has 3 wives, and Asiya is actually the 4th wife. But because he's rich, that is why he has Asiya Omondi. Then we have Rama Mahmud, and this Rama is she's a female member of the Feast of Allah, and engineer Saif Tahil's junior staff mate at the weapons laboratory. Now, she is the lady that made Engineer Saif Tahil lose his left eye. But what we come to see eventually is that she also loses her left eye through surgery due to the Hammurabic verdict, which was an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. Then we also see that she rejects Engineer Tahil's advances, something that did not turn out so well, because that is with Engineer Tahil, because he ends up slapping her as a way of revenge. So yes, those are some of the characters. Then we have Zeliza, whom we have seen is the late wife of Comrade Melusi Zeliza, who died in tribal clashes. Then we have these two parents, that is Ian. We have Ian Mackenzie and Elspeth Mackenzie, who are the adopted parents to Miss Fiona Mackenzie. I believe I've taken you through the characters that are used in Fathers of Nations. And even though you haven't read the book, or maybe you have a rough idea of what this book entails. I still continue to encourage you to find time and read the book. It's a nice book. I can't wait to read it a second time. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for the next video. Thank you, and bye bye.